What's going on, guys? Jacob over here. So, in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my full predictions for the 60-game season for the Milwaukee Brewers, which starts for them 9 days from now on July 24th against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. It's been quite the eventful season for the Brewers and off-season, I should say, actually. They made a lot of moves during the offseason, a lot of depth signings. They signed Christian Yelich to an extension. They traded away Zach Davies and Trent Grisham. They signed outfielder Avisail Garcia. They got catcher Omar Narvaez. There's just a lot of things that happened that's easy to forget about because of the coronavirus kind of just putting a damper on everything. But I really am glad that baseball is back. I mean, it is one of my favorite sports. Maybe not so much as football or even basketball, but I really do love just being able to sit down at night and watch baseball games. It really, really is something that I look forward to in the summers when there's nothing else on. And I love the Brewers. I love Christian Yelich. I love all these guys, and I'm really, really excited to see them back on the field again. But getting into the predictions here, they opened the season on the road against the Cubs and the Pirates. I can see them splitting that. It's might be a rocky start for a lot of teams because a lot of teams haven't faced real live opponents at the major league level in a long, long time. It's been 10 months since the Brewers have played a meaningful game, so it is going to be, I think, a bit of a slow start for a lot of teams. But the road isn't really going to be that much of a factor. The Brewers were always a pretty good road team under Craig Counsell, but the road isn't going to be much of a factor this year, and I think it actually gives a lot of teams a level playing field because you're not going to have that home field advantage anymore. So it'll be interesting to see how it all works out. And I'm also interested to see how the crowd noise is received by the players and the fans watching at home. Because I did watch the Brewers scrimmage last night. They did pump in some crowd noise, and I don't know. It's probably something that's going to have to grow on me. I think eventually I'll start coming around to it, but, we'll see what happens with it. I don't know if they're going to actually stick with it or not, but it certainly seems at least a little bit better than just like complete dead silence, which doesn't really seem to have or give the game a lot of intensity or stakes at all. And every game in this 60-game schedule is going to have some stakes. Going into August here, their first home series is against the Cardinals. Then they play the White Sox in a home-and-home. They've got quite a few home games here at the beginning of August. Cincinnati, Minnesota at home. Then they go back to Wrigley Field in the middle of August. They play a lot of games at Wrigley Field this year, actually. They play 7 games. A 4-game series in the middle of August at Wrigley Field is what the Brewers are going to be looking at there. Then they're going to have to go on the road to Minnesota and to Pittsburgh again. Then they get another homestand at the end of August, beginning of September. And September is a bit of a difficult month here, especially the final few weeks or so. Chicago at home, St. Louis at home, Kansas City at home, Cincinnati on the road, St. Louis on the road. Or Cincinnati on the road, I should say. Is that what I said? I don't remember. But especially those last 2 series, a 4-game series at St. Louis to finish it off, that's going to be kind of difficult. Same with Cincinnati. Cincinnati is, to me, I think they're going to be pretty good. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs or not, but they made a lot of big moves this offseason, and they really feel like a team that's kind of getting ready to make their presence felt again. So it will be interesting to see how the Reds do this year. That could obviously have a big impact on the Brewers, depending on how good the Reds are, because they play the Reds, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 times. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty big for the Brewers in those games against the Reds. Fortunately, they do play them more often at Miller Park, although of course, like I said, I'm not sure if that's gonna really give any team an advantage or not. But overall, this is a schedule that is pretty favorable to the Brewers. I mean, like I said, the Brewers have always played well in intense games and games that are very, very meaningful at the end of the season. They do get the benefit of playing against a weaker division as well in the AL Central, because of course they're doing the divisional counterpart. So the NL Central will play the AL Central. So the Twins are okay. The Tigers suck. The Royals suck. Cleveland is kind of mediocre. I mean, they certainly get a nice draw. The White Sox are pretty good. They can make some noise, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out for sure. And I hope that they're able to finish the season. I hope that they don't have to shut it down or anything for coronavirus concerns. Because I really, really want to see what happens with the 60-game season. I don't know if there would be an asterisk next. I cannot say that word. You guys know what I'm talking about. Next to the team who wins the World Series this year, honestly don't know. I kind of feel like whoever wins this season should be crowned a legitimate champion because these are very, very difficult circumstances, and this is a pretty level playing field we have. But at the same time, it's only 60 games of a schedule that's usually 162 games, so it's kind of hard to know 100% for sure if the playoff or if the teams getting in the playoffs are the teams that would have already made the playoffs. So we could get like some weird team in there, like maybe Pittsburgh somehow gets a wild card or something. I don't know. Just if you have a really good stretch of games for 60 games, you're going to make the playoffs, and even if you aren't a good team or in general a good team. So, I still am excited to see what happens this season. If I had to make a final prediction, I would say the Brewers go 36-24, and God, I don't know if they're going to win the division or not. 36-24. Actually, let's bump it up. Let's say 38-22. I'll say that. 38-22 is my final prediction for the season for the Brewers. You know what? I'll say they'll win the Central. I like their depth. I like their starting pitching. Their bullpen is very good. They have a lot of offensive pieces. I like this team a lot. And the big weakness for the Brewers has always been the knock on the starting pitching, but I really think the Brewers' starting pitching is going to be at least pretty good this year. And they have a pretty good, or a legitimate ace, in my opinion, in Brandon Woodruff. And I think he's going to make himself known once again this season. So, those are my predictions for the Brewers this season. I don't know how far they'll get in the playoffs. I'm actually curious to see how the playoffs will work, seeing as how there's not going to be any crowd noise. If you're in the World Series, you hit a walk-off hit, it's just going to be silent. Like, I don't know. It just feels so weird. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you think the Brewers' record is going to be this year, and where do you think they finish in the NL Central? Leave your comment in the comment section below. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Go Brewers.